So, Super Mario Bros. 2 was considered too challenging and too similar to be released outside of Japan, though I certainly agree that the game was f***ing hard.
No, wait, I forgot to turn off censored mode. There. Fuck. Okay.
Anyway, I agree that the game was fucking hard, but I don't think that's an excuse to not release a game anywhere else. But anyway, everyone else needed a sequel to Super Mario Bros., and since Nintendo of America didn't want us foreigners to wait until Nintendo of Japan to make a suitable sequel, another option had to be taken. Enter Doki Doki Panic, another game produced by Mr. Miyamoto in 1987 that was also never given an international release. The game was a 2D side-scroll that let you control up to 4 different characters, where your mission was to rescue 2 children that were kidnapped and warped inside a storybook by the villainous Ward, who left such a dominating impression that he hasn't had an appearance in any other game since this title, not including a cameo in Link's Awakening. Unfortunately, I don't have the original Doki Doki Panic, and I can only talk over static images for so long. I know you guys are thinking I could just use an emulator to record footage of it, but that's just something I don't like doing. I like to be authentic with my game reviews, and it's also the reason I didn't fully review Sonic Colors on the DS. So trust me guys, I'm well aware of emulators, I just don't like using them. Well, except maybe for an occasional Let's Play, but anyway. To solve the sequel problem Nintendo of America wanted solved, Nintendo of Japan took Doki Doki Panic and gave it a Super Mario makeover. The 4 family members were transformed into Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach. A run button was added, thank God, and the game received quite a number of graphical enhancements and changes. Whenever I get the original Doki Doki Panic and a Famicom Disk System, I'll go more in depth to what was changed. The story, like the other games, was incredibly simple. Mario dreams about a stairway which leads into the world of Subcon. There he finds out that the inhabitants of Subcon need to be rescued from Ward. As Mario and the gang, you just need to reach Ward and beat the shit out of him with vegetables to save the day. The game controls very much like the original Super Mario Bros., but unlike the original game, you can't kill enemies by simply jumping on them, and the Fire Flower isn't in this game either. Instead, you kill enemies by throwing all sorts of shit at them. Scattered throughout each level are plants and whatnot that you can pick up with the B button. If you press the button again while holding something, you can fling it and take out enemies, but you can also do this with other enemies, which is very satisfying. Plants don't just have vegetables in them either. Other times you can find a Koopa shell, which you can use to destroy multiple enemies, and sometimes you can pick up extra lives, which is always nice. You can also find bombs, which you'll need in order to destroy rocks blocking your path, and other times you can also like I was saying, you can also find a potion which reveals a door the moment you throw it on the ground. Entering the door takes you to subspace, where everything is dark and the level design is reversed. If you enter subspace at the right position, you can also find a mushroom, which expands your health point for the remainder of the stage. You see, in this game you actually have a health meter. If you're down to your last hit point, you shrink in size. You can restore your health by either picking up a mushroom in subspace or by collecting hearts that randomly pop up at times. At least I think it's random, I'm not sure. Picking up plants in subspace can also give you coins, which gives you more chances to score extra lives at the end of each stage with the slot machine bonus game. One of the more annoying things is trying to find the right spot to drop a potion to get the mushroom. Oh, you son of a bitch! You probably noticed the cherries at this point, and they exist for only one purpose: getting a Starman. Collect 5 cherries and a Starman will appear, performing exactly how it did in the original Super Mario Bros. So whenever you see a cherry, be sure to collect it. It'll make your progression much easier. Other than that though, there's no other power-ups in this game. There's no Fire Flower in sight, which is a bummer actually, because I think it certainly would have made the game a little more fun. But hey, at least there's a power block from the original Mario Bros. Game. You throw it and everything on the ground dies. Well, sometimes. Instead of touching a flagpole to end the level, you need to pick up a glowing orb and enter this bird mount to proceed to the next level. Wow, that sounded trippy. However, these glowing orbs are usually guarded by Birdo, a gender-confused whatever it is that you'll face at the end of each level that isn't a boss level. At first, she just spits out eggs that you need to chuck back at her, but as you progress you'll meet different colored ones that also add fireballs to the mix, and then some who shoot nothing but fireballs. At the end of every world you need to defeat a boss, none which involve Bowser at all. Yeah, if you've really grown attached to the King of Koopas after the first 2 games, well, you aren't going to see him now, he's nowhere in this game. In fact, no enemies from the original Super Mario Bros. Are in this game. When Doki Doki Panic was converted into this game, the enemies were left untouched, so with that said, we have a bunch of new foes to face. First and foremost, we have Shy Guys, who do nothing but walk around. Then there's Sweeters, who also do nothing but move, but these guys sort of hop their way around. There's also Ninjas, who move and jump around, but there's also Perkybo, who you can't touch, but holy shit, these enemies are boring! I'm serious, what the hell's the threat with these guys when all of them can simply be defeated by throwing stuff at them? Granted, some of them can be kind of annoying, but that's usually because of their placement and not what they actually do. In fact, I can go to say that the only enemies I find particularly annoying are Panzers, who come in 3 different flavors and shoot fireballs, and Sparks, who can be a bitch to dodge at times. Every other regular enemy in this game is, well, pathetic. Even Phanto, that creepy-ass mask that chases you when you grab a key, isn't threatening, because the thing stops chasing you when you let go of the key. To Doki Doki Panic's credit, however, it did introduce what will become Mario staples in the franchise, such as the already mentioned Shy Guys, Pokies, and bombs. The boss fights are definitely more interesting. There's Mouser, who has a bomb fetish, and I'm guessing because of that he's never been allowed to be in another Mario game ever again, though you do fight him twice in this game. Then there's Triclide, a three-headed snake that shoots a fuck ton of fireballs, but he's actually not that hard at all, and like Mouser, you also fight him twice. At the end of World 4, you fight Fry Guy, which thanks to Pac-Man syndrome is pathetically easy, but when you think you've won, he splits up into 4 small Fry Guys, and each time you kill one, the others get faster and a little trickier to kill. Come on, I'm gonna get you, yeah, I'm gonna get you, you're gonna die, you little fucker, come on, there's no escape, you can't from me, oh, come on, oh, you fucked the legend, I'm gonna get you, I'm mad, I'm gonna kill you right now, your ass is breath, there, die, come on, you can't from me, come on, there, die. There's also Claw Grip, Claw Glip, that likes to throw his rocks at you. At least I hope they're rocks. In the original Doki Doki Panic, Claw Grip didn't exist at all. Instead, you fought Mouser a third time, which makes me think that developers really wanted Mouser to become a fan favorite. But over 25 years later, who the hell remembers Mouser? Yeah, I didn't think so. The final boss is Wart himself, who likes to shoot bubbles at you. Bubbles. Huh. Actually, he's pretty easy too, especially as Princess Peach. In order to defeat him, you just need to throw vegetables at him, which conveniently spew out of this thingamajig, which is actually the Dream Machine, the source of Wart's power. Wait. What? This thing belongs to Wart? Then why the fuck is it helping me? Well, no wonder you're not in any other Mario game. You're the walking definition of dipshit. I'm serious, it's the equivalent of Ganon handing Link the Master Sword before duking it out. It's so stupid! Alright, moving on. Once you defeat Wart, you rescue the people of Subcon, who do God knows what to Wart. It's here that you find out that it was all just a dream and none of it actually happened. Well, at least the game wasn't very plot-heavy, unlike a certain other game I know. Like I mentioned earlier, you can choose between 4 characters in this game. Mario is the most well-rounded, no glaring weaknesses, but no mentionable strengths either. Personally, he's my favorite of the bunch, though that's probably because he's Mario. Luigi has a higher jump and a shit ton more airtime, complete with his obligatory slipperiness, which makes him a little awkward to control when you're trying to do some precise platforming. Toad is the fastest and strongest of the bunch, so he can pick up shit faster than anybody else, which makes him great for scoring a bunch of coins in subspace. If I'm not playing as Mario, I'll most likely play as Toad instead. Princess Peach is certainly the weakest of the 4, and she takes forever to lift shit up, which is especially noticeable whenever you fight Birdo. But she probably has the most useful ability in the game, flying. Granted, it's more like she's hovering and it only lasts a few seconds, but still, come on, do you realize how much easier you can make a platform by giving a character an ability such as this? She can ignore tons of obstacles altogether, and she removes almost all challenge this game had to offer. So needless to say, if you're having a hard time with a particular level, choose Princess Peach, especially in Worlds 5 and 6. However, if choosing a girl in a pink dress isn't the way you want to skip worlds entirely, you can also find warp zones. If you manage to use a subspace potion near a few specific jars, you can warp to other worlds just like that. Wimp. Unlike Super Mario Bros. Or the Lost Levels, you actually have continues in this game. 2 of them. And when you use one, you start at the beginning of the world you died in and not the actual level. What the fuck? In the original Doki Doki Panic, you actually had a save feature, so what the hell? Oh, and just for a little clarification, the reason why I didn't mention the continue cheat in the original Super Mario Bros. Was simply because I didn't know about it. Yeah, it's kind of a dipshit moment for me, but why the hell does a continue feature need to be a goddamn cheat? It's stupid. Now, one of the problems I had with the original game was the control, especially when you're moving fast. Although this game definitely controls a bit smoother than its predecessor, every character's acceleration is off the freaking wall. They go from 0 to 60 in less than a second, which makes some platforming kind of infuriating, especially when the platforms are incredibly small. Another thing that annoys me is the knockback that occurs whenever you collide with an enemy in midair. It's as if the enemies have some invisible force field that pushes you back, and it really pisses me off when it's during a vertical platforming section or near a bottomless pit. And finally, there's these sections of desert levels that require you to dig out shit tons of sand with the character. This is incredibly monotonous and makes my thumbs hurt. This is definitely a spot to bring Toad along with you. Graphically speaking, it's certainly more detailed than the first game. This is the first time we see Mario as detailed as he is, and he's actually wearing blue overalls this time instead of red ones. For an 8-bit game, it's pretty nice, and the updated aesthetics of this game beat the shit out of the original Doki Doki Panic. Just about everything moves in this world, and it certainly adds to the game's charm. The music's pretty nice too, just about as memorable as the original Super Mario Bros. Though like the original Super Mario Bros., the musical tracks are limited and rather short, but I can definitely say it's very lively, and definitely reflects the world they're traveling in. One thing I always found odd was when you pause the game, the music loses a few instruments and only plays the bass. So even though it wasn't originally a Mario game to begin with, Super Mario Bros. 2 was still a resounding success. It was incredibly popular when it was first released, and it managed to sell over 10 million copies. This game was eventually released in Japan under the title Super Mario USA to help distinguish it from Lost Levels, though I wonder how Japanese gamers felt when they realized they bought another version of Doki Doki Panic. I mean, it's certainly an upgrade from the original title, but still, it's rather odd. Looking back, this is a Mario game I had some fun with when I was a kid, but not on a level I had with the original game and other Mario titles I grew up with at the time. It's aged well, but not as well as the original Super Mario Bros. With that said, I'll give the game a 6.5 out of 10. The game has enough merits to stand on its own, and it can be pretty fun at times. Though personally, it can also get really boring at times. Give it a try whenever you get a chance. You might end up liking it.
Alright, there's only 1 week left of April, and I realize I'm not going to make my deadline of April 30th. But who gives a shit? We still got 2 more games to review, and I'll be damned if I rush through them and give you guys half-ass reviews. It may be approaching the end of April, but hell, why can't May have a little Mario love as well? So next time we meet, we're looking into Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. Oh yeah.